Yes.
Joining us right now to talk more about last night's game, an old familiar face and friend, but in a new location. We used to call Mike Cairns to talk about the Cavaliers and the Indians. He was in Cleveland. Now he's made his way down to the Sunshine State. He wisened up and got warm. Mike, welcome back to the Morning Run. We thank you for joining us. You're now with Spectrum Sports down in Florida. Let's begin by talking about the Buccaneers, how they needed to be at their best to beat the Cowboys last night, and they didn't always play their best. What sense did you get that maybe, in some moments anyway, that the Sunday night lights might have been too bright for a team not experienced in these primetime affairs?
Yeah, good morning, guys. We all knew it was going to be tough. Dallas coming off that loss last week to the Giants, for the Bucs to go down into Big D and win that game in Jerry Jones' stadium. It was tough, and especially like you mentioned, it's Sunday night lights. It's the bright lights for the Bucs, and again, they're becoming in some ways the new media darling in the National Football League. They got 3 straight flex games. This was the second of 2 flexed, and next week's game will be flexed again. So early on, there's always some jitters, obviously, but this is a winnable ball game for the Buccaneers. That's what I took away from it. This was a 3-3 football game in the second quarter, and the Bucs had a 20-17 lead in the third quarter. So, I mean, this was definitely a winnable football game. There's no question about that. But, again, there were some key points and some key turnovers, and Dallas took advantage of them. And, again, they ran the football as they've done really well all season long. And I don't think the Bucs were necessarily nervous. It may be early, but I think they settled in nice and really made this into what really was a good football game. Take away 1 or 2 turnovers down the stretch.
All right, Jameis Winston, 17 for 35, 247 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 picks. How would you describe the way he played?
You know, Alexa, I thought he played good. I thought he played well. There were times, in that Dallas defense, certainly there was the 1 turnover late where they got a piece of his arm, forced him to throw high. I think it was the 3rd pick. So, yeah, overall, I thought he played really well. And for people who haven't seen Jameis play this year, I think he showed why he's going to be a special quarterback. He moves the pocket well. He's a mobile guy. You saw him take the head-butting penalty. He's really become a leader on this team. He has been, and this is a young football team, and he's
but
really
is that
been
leadership,
the guy.
Mike, is that leadership?
That wasn't leadership.
Yeah,
no,
that's one of those plays.
Leadership.
That was one of those plays where I was mentioning about some of the bright lights maybe overwhelming them, where maybe he was a little too amped up or whatever. But I was like, you know, you're right there on the doorstep of the end zone, and you basically killed any chance of getting a touchdown.
Right. And no, that definitely wasn't leadership, and that's some of the things that Jameis is going to have to deal with. I mean, he's a young football player in his career, and he's still learning as he goes. But there's been a couple plays like that, not necessarily the headbutt, but there's been plays where, you know, on a stretch run, Jameis will be out in front blocking. And Dirk Cutter's like, you know, dude, that's great. But if we lose you, we lose our franchise quarterback. I mean, and the players love it. The offensive linemen love it. You see him helping up his offensive lineman after there's things like that he's going to have to learn, that he's going to have to dial back a little bit. And that's the kind of Jameis that you get. But he's a guy that can make plays. You saw there was one play, the touchdown throw to Humphries. Even though it was tipped by Carr, that's Jameis on a 3rd and 1. He easily could have run for probably 5 or 6 yards and got the first down. He's thinking make a big play. And luckily in that situation, it was to his advantage. But I think we're kind of seeing him mature a little bit at a time. But I've been impressed by what I've seen since I've been down.